channel, The Vintage Pickin Mama. So today we are exploring Tampa, Florida, a beach town, and we found something really cool. So we're in this store called The Vintage Post. I love that this little store is from a converted post office, and it has great style in here. Y'all, this really brings out like coastal, beach, California vibes for me. It has mid-century, awesome, vintage, hipster vibes. And you guys, just come along for the ride. Let's get some really cool, funky style. What I'm already loving about this store, you guys, is that the prices are really, really good. You guys know I love pops of color. I'm really, really loving this cool chair right here. It's very mod, very mid-century. I love, you have the sort of claw feet. They're almost claw, but not quite. I'm really, really liking that. I really, really love this Venetian mirror up here. And at $175, it's a really, really good price. So we have some mid-century nightstands over here. We have this bamboo set that is just so beachcomber. It's so like I Love Lucy, Beverly Hills Palms Hotel, 1950s. It's really, really fun. And again, it just reminds me of Orange County and back home so much. So let's keep looking. If you guys look up, we got these cool light fixtures up here attached to an old mattress with springs. I think that a good light fixture can really make a room, so I'm loving that. I see this cool little canvas over here with the Eiffel Tower. That's really cute. It's really eclectic in here. It's a really good showcase of how you don't need to have the same pieces. You can have vintage, you can mix different eras, even 1950s, 1960s, 1930s, and get it really fun. It's really modern and fresh, but it's still mid-century and vintage. Reminds me a lot of, you know, this room is very like New York. I think it's the murals, and you get a little bit more of that graphic art. It gives you more of a city vibe, whereas when you get more of that textures, the rattans, the woods, the pops of bright color, then you get more coastal. So it's really fun to see how just with playing with your different just touches, you can get a completely different look. Okay, so this is cool. So we have a pie safe here. This one, let's see if I can get it to open up for me. Yes. So this one's a little bit different because it hasn't been painted. It's kind of rare to find a pie safe these days that hasn't been crackled or upcycled to have paint. I really like how when you leave it just with bare wood, it becomes just a little bit more sophisticated and not as country, which just shows you that if you're, you know, you love vintage but maybe farmhouse isn't your thing, you don't have to paint everything. You can get a different look by leaving it with just the clean bare wood. I'm noticing that with like flea market style these days, things are getting like a little bit more funky. People don't just want cottage look. So flea market doesn't have to mean cottage. We're getting a lot more of that 1950s, 1960s, and that mod look does give a more sophisticated vibe. When I picked up a copy of Town and Country the other day, they had a dinette set that was just like this. This one looks to be from like 60s or 70s. And I think it's becoming more popular because it's traditional, yet still gives that pop of vintage. So, let's see what else we can find. There's lots of goodies in here. So you guys know me, I'm drawn to these shutters right here because I'm a cottage gal at heart. But my mom is really big into the 50s and 60s mid-century look, and she would just love it. I mean, she would really love it in here. So we've got some old equipment here. We've got, looks to be like an old hi-fi system, some old video recording This is really cool. Again, this gives it a little bit more of that New York loft vibe just by adding some vintage pieces, whether they're working or not. Lacquer. If you're looking for more of that city vibe, find pieces with lacquer. Like this, immediately because it's black and it's shiny, it immediately takes it out of cottage. There's no way this is cottage or country. This is definitely more city, a little bit more modern. Love it whenever we convert anything into a sink. I just think that if you're looking for the biggest bang in a bathroom, especially if it's a tiny bathroom, because I have 2 bathrooms in my house and the second one's really small, and when you want a focal statement in a bathroom, getting a really cool piece like this and converting it or buying it ready-made like this is a lot of bang for your buck. Whether, like this one, I'm not seeing the price tag on it. You know, if you put out $400 or $500, you're gonna get that investment back because it instantly makes your bathroom look pulled together. Oh, this is awesome, you guys. So this is just so cool. So we have an old-fashioned mid-century bar in here. This is very Dick Van Dyke Show. It's almost verging a little bit Partridge Family, which is just so fun, and it has that whimsical vibe, yet this can be very serious. This is still a really awesome piece. It's in great condition. If you have a collection, if you want to actually put liquor in here, this is just awesome. It's very bachelorette pad and just funky. Very, very cool. Again, we're talking about colors and texture. I talked about before about how if you want a little bit more of that urban look, you want something shiny, you want a lacquer. Matte is the same thing. You know, a lot of the times when we have cottage or farmhouse looks, we're looking at crackle. We're looking at the texture of the worn chippy paint coming through. But when you look at something like this, in this matte navy blue color, it's not country, it's not cottage, it's not shabby chic. You're immediately looking at mid-century mod, and this is a really popular color right now. It really screams coastal, but in a classy, sophisticated way, and this is a really nice piece. You guys know I love shops that offer a variety of different things. I think that when I want to go someplace where I want to spend my time, it has to really showcase a lot of different styles and offer a lot. I really liked over here at the Vintage Post, they have tea, they have jewelry, they have vintage textiles, and again, they have some really cool mod style. Let me come right over to this corner. When I came over here, I was immediately freaking out. You guys know that I have this affinity for all things radio flyer, and this cute little radio flyer shelf was just screaming my name. I mean, I came over to this and it was like, Rachel, take me home. My personal favorite pop of color is red. I don't think that you can go wrong with red. I think it fits with mod. I think it fits with shabby chic, farmhouse. I really believe in buying things that if you want to change your style, I know that I've evolved over the years from a really true shabby chic look to now much more straight cottage and flea market. Especially if you don't know what style you are, buy things that speak to your heart. What's your favorite color? Buy neutrals and always have a pop of something. You need a power color in there to really give you that fun whimsicality. I'm really loving this little section right here. Out of the whole store, this is probably my favorite booth. I really love this magnetic sign. I love these vintage knobs. We got another pop of red over here and this little metal table. I really love everything. What I love about mid-century is the colors. They weren't afraid of color. Now everything is so gray and beige and grayish, and they loved color. They embraced color. Really popular colors in the mid-century was blues and navies, and you get that seafoam mint, a pop of yellow, a pop of red. And it's a shame because these old TV shows, Dick Van Dyke, I Love Lucy, you're not really seeing the full value of what that era had to offer. It was fun, it was happy, and ultimately mid-century should make you happy. It should be a play on the sophisticated with whimsicality and style. So that's the Vintage Post. Thanks so much for joining us today, guys. If you enjoyed this to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you can join us for all of our vintage hunting adventures. You know that I love vintage, and I love when you guys comment and tell me where to go next. If you're in the Central Florida area or any of the tri-state area, I'd love to hear from you, especially if you have a store and you want us to come your way. Thanks guys, and I'll see you at the Pickin place. Bye now.